Hello. Anyway, someone was asking me about how exactly do I pick a niche. I'm not going to get into every single part of picking a niche, how to use a ref, SEMrush, that kinds of stuff. It's just gives me a basic sort of guide to a little bit more advanced. If you already understand keyword research, how to pick a niche, that kinds of stuff, this video probably won't be any use for you. In this case, I've just started running one on the site called Keyword Shitter. Now, its software does work pretty good. The only thing you have to be aware, which is quite important, quite a lot of these words you can potentially rank for or get will have no traffic, meaning you could in theory rank for 100 of these ones, but you potentially might make no money from it, or so little money it's not really worth doing. But it can still give you an impressive amount of keyword or keyword ideas. And when it comes to doing niche research, one of the things most people forget and don't do right is they basically pick some niche, for example purposes, say a high-end insurance niche. They think because some guy or girl, whatever, told them that you can apparently make 100,000 a month doing it, that you can just stick a website online and you're guaranteed to make money. In reality, it won't work. When it comes to insurance niches or high-end niches, you will have to be willing to spend a decent amount of money, such as 10,000 a month or more, depending on what niche or keyword research you're doing. Now, can you potentially make money SEO-wise on a low budget? You can potentially, but it will take you a lot of more hard work yourself, and in some cases it may not be really worth your time because you generally need money to invest when it comes to things like paying staff, getting software, hosting, domain name. If you're in PBN building, obviously buying the PBNs and the extra hosting for that, content costs and a range of issues. And the costs with regards to SEOs have actually gone up quite a bit compared to the past. In the past, you could potentially do things like, for example, purposes, set up a website, do a bit of GSA work, and you could rank potentially quite quickly. That doesn't work anymore, but you could potentially just really bought a site, attach GSA links to. I'm not recommending you do it anymore, but you could potentially. But with how things work now, you have to be willing to spend more time, more money, and effort to do things. You also have as well, when it comes to doing niche research, you could potentially, for whatever reason, be in a niche which Google itself gives lots of issues. I'm not going to name all the niches that sort of these involve because that would just make things a bit complicated. But if you pick a right niche, you could basically be able to do more anything you want SEO wise and you'll have no issues. Meaning that could be for you a good niche for you to pick, since it could potentially make you money more easy and other things. If you're doing SEO work in non-English languages, you can sometimes get off with doing more spammy, more aggressive link building at the moment. That could potentially change in the future, but at the moment that still does apply in quite a lot of things. Meaning, if you, for argument's sake, say speak Urdu or another language, you could potentially do that and find it's easier for you to rank there compared to English or some other language. There's definitely exceptions to every rule. You can, in some niches in the English market, be able to rank quite easy by doing things which are more aggressive or out of date SEO approaches. It does depend on many different factors. And with regards to keyword research or niche picking, that kind of stuff, you have to try and pick a site itself which is going to potentially make you money within your budget. If your budget is, say, $500 or £500, whatever, a month, that means that is in theory the maximum you can spend. If you find out the site makes money for later on, for example, it goes up to say 1,000 a month, so you got 1,000 plus your 500, then you can in theory spend more money to boost that site's sales, or you could potentially sell it, then basically do something else again. There's lots of options you can be doing, but in regards to niche itself, you have to try and pick something which you could potentially rank for or make money for. For example, purposes, you can find lots of things like ClickBank, you could potentially promote products in. You could potentially become an Amazon affiliate. I would recommend an Amazon affiliate because you can get banned quite easy and the commission is quite low compared to what you used to get. But there is lots of niches you could potentially go into which can potentially make you a lot of money. For example, last time I looked into drug rehab, just for curiosity's sake, you can get paid affiliate commissions of around $500 last time I checked. So that basically means potentially, if two people join whichever drug rehab center, you could potentially make 1,000 a month. If you target high-end niches with, say, little competition or no competition in some cases, you can potentially have a steady flow of money. You also have to watch when it comes to promoting products or services, but the product you're promoting will only make you tiny commission. For example, $1, £1, whatever, that kind of stuff. If you're only making tiny money, unless it's part of a much bigger business approach you've got, it's not really worth doing. You really need, when it comes to promoting a product or service, something which is going to give you real profit or real money you can make use of. For example purposes, if it costs you £1,000 to rank up a site, and at the end of the site it only makes you, for example purposes, just say $50 or £50, whatever, then it wouldn't really be a good move to do. You want to basically be trying to look at something which is going to potentially make you money long term or short term. And when it comes to doing keyword or keyword research for phrases, you have to be looking at things which are going to potentially make you money, either short term or long term. If you promote, for example, a product which is really, really popular at the moment, such as say a fashion item, such as fashionable clothing, you could be promoting that for 6 months, a year, then it, for whatever reason, dies out of fashion. If you're promoting things which always have like a short lifespan of how popular they're going to be, you have to then always be willing to upgrade or move on to other products or services which could potentially make you money later on. For example, it's quite common, particularly in the diet niche, that a diet will be popular for a few years, it will die, and something else takes over. If you had a site which, for example purposes, only has one diet name on it, that could then potentially make your brand or your website look out of date or bad, because the diet you're promoting in theory doesn't exist or is not popular for whatever reason. You have to always be looking at things in what's going to happen next, rather than what quite a lot of people do with regards to SEO. They look at things at what's happening, what's working now, when people who do it right should generally be thinking of what's going to happen in the near future or what is going to happen in the very, very end. If you, for example, do what's known as lunchjacking, in case you know what lunchjacking is, I'm just making it up. Let's just say a new video game is getting released 2 months from now. If you do an article covering about this video game or some other new product, you could potentially rank first for that keyword or keyword phrase without you having to do much link building or other work, since you're potentially the first person to do the article. In some cases, if you do lunchjacking right, you could then potentially find you rank the highest, and this could in some cases allow you to rank for more keywords, because then Google can potentially believe your site or your business is a high authority one or a very good one because of your authority coming from that keyword or brand in general. But one of the reasons quite a lot of people don't like doing lunchjacking is, in some cases, it can become very competitive. You also, as well, when it comes to lunchjacking, you generally have no idea how much money you can make. You can make anything from £1 to basically any amount of money, more or less, in the world, depending on how popular the product gets. That's the reason for why some people don't do it. But you could potentially have a website which is purely lunchjacking anything. It could be your lunchjacking video games, health products, pet food, basically anything in the world, more or less. There's not really a limit to what you could be doing. And when it comes to niches as well, I would recommend you pick something which interests you. The reason why I say I recommend you pick something that interests you, if it doesn't interest you, it might bore you. If you're not doing the content or not doing much of work yourself, you're just sort of managing, it doesn't really matter as much. But if you're forced to basically work on it all the time and you hate the thing you're promoting, it may irritate you, annoy you. So I would recommend in most cases, try and pick something which interests you or excites you for whatever reason. I'm going to show you one more keyword software you could potentially use as another good one, which some people I don't think know about. So I'll just go keyword. Yeah, it's a keyword freak. You may have not heard of this one, but I think it's a really good one. I'll just type in a keyword idea. Just go to dog food. If we're going to do a dog one, we can get things in alphabetical, informal, transactional, suggestions, commercial. We can also pick if we want it in English, German, Denmark, Spain, France, or Dutch. We can also pick a location if we want to. I generally just go with that, just not location, so quick alphabet. This software as well works really fast, so you'll be able to get lots of keywords really quickly. You can see we got all the way from A all the way down to Z. So that means we could potentially target some reasons such as dog food advisor, dog food allergy symptoms, dog food brands, dog food eating, and so on. You can do it things on broad match modifier, phase match, exact match. You can also download it as a CSV file, so we could potentially use it in something like a ref to get more data or another software. We can copy a keyword to clipboard. You can use this software, so I found it overall pretty good. It's one of actually the best free keyword tools I've ever encountered. Most of the keywords it seems to target, from what I've seen so far, are actually things which will be highly likely to have some sort of traffic or some sort of potential. Now, not every single one's going to make big money, but there is a lot of potential ones you could do just from this little list itself, and you can use as much as you want for keyword ideas or simply content you want to target. And that's basically how to pick them. Just try and look for a niche which is going to potentially make you money, something which you have the budget or the resources to be able to rank for it, and that's basically simplified how to do a bit of niche research without going into too much details, and about Lunchjack in a wee bit, and also about different ways you could potentially find keyword ideas using the two softwares I've shown you. Keyword Share is free. I can't fault that concept of it, but it doesn't really, to me, give you as many keywords that are going to make you money. If you just want a load of keyword ideas, nothing wrong with Keyword Shitter for that. The Keyword Freak itself, I'm really impressed with it so far. Anyway,